Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode. We are bringing people to East Tennessee, and it is so much fun to watch people move here and just fall in love with the area. And it's all because of you guys and how awesome you all are. And so thank you for making our area awesome. And thank you for listening to the podcast. I'm excited. We're growing our listener base, and we have you to thank. So thank you. And continue to share it, continue to subscribe, and let's just keep blowing this thing up and telling everybody about Johnson City and what all the wonderful things it is. Today, I have a new friend. His name is Dustin Peters with FLP Counseling. Welcome to the podcast and our first time on a couch together. So this is interesting. Like, I may need to lay down since you're a counselor, and we'll get you a little chair and you can just, talk to me.
We don't really do it like that anymore, but that's okay. Yeah.
Man, I thought that's how it worked.
Too many people fell asleep. Yeah.
Too many people fell asleep and your hour's up. Wake up. So talk to us about FLP Counseling. Actually, I digress. First things first, Johnson City Living Podcast. What do you love most about Johnson City?
Well, I've lived in the Tri-Cities my whole life.
Okay.
So for 40 plus years now, I've been in the Tri-Cities. Always been a fan of Johnson City out of the three cities.
Yeah.
I just like the diversity. I like all the opportunities here as far as food, shopping, the different people you meet, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love the old architecture that's still up. I look at the brick wall you have in the background over there.
Yeah.
Like that, who knows how old that wall actually is, but that stuff like that's just really cool to me.
It is.
I really like that.
Yeah. I love our downtown and our older buildings. It's, we've got some good architecture down here. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Pretty cool. Well, that's a good answer. All right. FLP Counseling. What does FLP stand for?
Stands for Foundations for Life Principles.
Okay. And is this your company? How did you start it? Where did it get going? Tell us the origin story of FLP.
Sure. It is not my company. I'm just the CEO of it. The owner is a woman named Carrie Davis Marchant.
Okay.
So Carrie did not start out her life as a therapist. She was originally a criminologist, specialized in probation. Juvenile probation at that. She worked with these kids and these families in and out, and she was really disheartened at how broken families were in the Tri-Cities area. She wanted to get involved before they ended up on probation. So she started going back to school, pursuing things in mental health and psychology and things like that. She ended up writing a curriculum called Moral Combat. Now, it came out back in the 90s when a popular video game was out there. Same font and everything. It caught people's attention. It was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Moral Combat is built off of REBT therapy and CBT therapy, so cognitive behavioral and rational emotive behavioral therapies. So she did that so that she could intervene with families. She could work with them. She could educate the youth and the parents to keep them from getting to the point of probation and juvenile justice and all those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moral Combat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long ago was that she got?
That was 1998.
1998.
She wrote the curriculum that started.
That's amazing. And then she started the FLP therapy group, I guess. And then how did you become a part of it?
So I became a part of FLP when I was in grad school. I was working on my master's of counseling, and I was actually looking for an internship opportunity. That was when COVID hit really bad. So a lot of people weren't taking in interns. They were kind of thinning out what they had. FLP had an opening, so I went and worked. I left, so counseling's kind of a second career for me.
Okay.
I was a retail manager for 18 and a half years.
Where at?
A place called Surf and Dirt.
Surfing dirt.
Yep.
I've never heard of that. That's here locally?
It was.
Was?
They still were when I left.
Okay.
I don't believe they are
Surfing
now.
dirt. What did surfing dirt do?
Retail clothing based around the surf and motocross industry.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense now. I'm like,
Fox Racing,
Yes.
Hurley, Billabong, stuff like that.
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
so I did that for 18 and a half years.
Okay.
And then I started pursuing counseling. So FLP took me in as an intern, and I worked there. I worked hard. The previous CEO left. He moved to Florida to be closer to grandkids. Position opened up. I had experience running a business, so they offered me the role.
That's pretty cool. How long ago was that?
That was 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the CEO of a counseling center? What's your day-to-day like?
Chaos. Chaos. So I started today doing a large presentation for about 130, 140 DCS people,
Okay.
PowerPoints and all. Left there, got a little bit of lunch, saw some clients, and then did some billing and came here.
And now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here.
I like it.
Yeah.
And who knows what the next couple hours will hold.
Hopefully some peace and quiet.
I love it. What drew you to counseling from your surfing dirt
Oof.
position?
How deep we want to go here?
Well, we're on the couch.
Sure.
Like it's a safe space. You just go as deep as you want.
Right.
We're only talking to a few thousand people. So
Okay.
no big
Okay.
deal.
No. So it actually started with my wife. Years ago, it was 2011. She became suicidal.
Hmm.
She had a plan. She was going to go through with it. So I found myself at 11 o'clock at night, sitting in the doorway of her bedroom to make sure she stayed in bed and didn't leave. The next morning, I took her to a local mental health facility. They kept her. She was inpatient for a while. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, along with some depression and stuff like that. And I realized how unprepared I was for that.
Mm.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like feeling as helpless as I did in that moment. So a big part of me pursuing this was to help my wife and to be able to be there for her and to just understand what she was going through better.
Yeah, that's tough. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then kind of a side thing that came about throughout it too. One of my sisters deals with addiction issues. She has since she was 16. She's dealt with a lot of addiction. And I never understood that either. Right. There's my mind frame has changed a lot when it comes to addiction, because I used to be the person that said, just stop. Like, just quit, walk away from it. It's not that easy. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I totally understand addiction now. I've never dealt with a serious addiction like drugs or alcoholism or anything like that. But I have more of an understanding that all these years, it wasn't that easy for her to just walk away.
Had a grip on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like a lot of that's mental, or is it more it kind of manifests physically, at some point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably not if then. Yeah. It's
a little bit of all of it. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Well, talk about the different, you guys handle a lot of different therapies and a lot of different clients. Tell us about different things you guys offer and talk to our listeners about how they can, benefit.
Sure. So we offer a lot of different types of therapy. We do individual, we do couples, we do families. We do small kids all the way up to elderly adults. Right now, my client range stretches from 12 to 83.
Oh, wow.
So everything from individuals to couples to families.
You're never too young or too old.
You're not. You're
for
not.
Some therapy.
So we offer all those types of therapies. We have therapists who specialize in cognitive behavioral, CBT, which is one of the more common ones that you hear about. The REBT therapies, rational emotive behavioral therapy, DBT, which is kind of a newer therapy. It's dialectical behavioral therapy. Originally, it was developed to treat borderline personality disorder, but it's really effective in bipolar, depression, all these other disorders as well. So it's a really effective one that we've got several people there trained in it. Not a lot of people in the Tri-Cities are trained in DBT.
Oh, wow.
Another cool thing that spun off from that is that we've started a DBT skills group. So it's a group of people. It's not group therapy, but you come together and you learn different skills together, mindfulness and stuff like that.
And then you've got camaraderie because they've got friends. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Marriage and family therapy, you do that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, I do. So I'm certified in premarital counseling, and of course my specialty is in couples counseling. I do a fair amount of couples counseling. So
yeah,
really enjoy it actually.
That's good.
It's not it's not for everybody. You'll talk to different therapists. Some love it, some hate it. You hear a lot of bickering and arguing. I enjoy it though. Sounds kind of morbid and weird. I enjoy it though, because a lot of times I can sit back and watch two people bicker and argue and then listen to them for a minute and then stop it. And it's like, okay, here's whatever each other's saying.
Right. You're just not hearing it.
You're just not hearing it because you're trying to outscream the other one. So yeah.
That's fun. Now, is a lot of that faith-based or is it more?
So it's, most of the therapists that work there are Christians. I do both faith-based or non-faith-based counseling.
Gotcha.
It's up to the client.
Yeah.
I kind of let them lead.
Yeah.
What's kind of neat though is a lot of the things, even if they don't want faith-based, a lot of the things I'm teaching them and doing with them, you can tie it back to scripture.
The Lord made marriage and I get it. And so to help us, you got to.
If you totally take him out, I don't know that you can do anything.
No, I think my wife she'd lose her patience with me completely. She didn't have the patience of Jesus in her.
Yours and mine do.
And so you also deal with some of the harder, like addiction stuff, like drugs and trauma and mental health. And
we do.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So we do a lot of addictions work as well. We use a curriculum called the Matrix curriculum. It's really good. Takes roughly about 3 months to go through that program. We can help with alcoholism, drug abuse, whether it's opioids, cannabis, whatever it may be. There's things we can do to help with it. So there's a really ugly side to that. Now, I say the curriculum takes 3 months to go through. Sometimes it takes more than 3 months.
Sure. You can't change your behavior in 3 months if you've been doing it for 10 years or whatever.
Exactly. It's hard. You're just in the beginning of recovery at that point. A lot of people, they have to find, once they go into recovery and they sustain it for a while, they have to find a way to stay in recovery. One of our therapists, he dealt with an addiction issue many years ago, a severe one, really severe one. He got into recovery. He was doing really good with it. And that's why he went to school to become a therapist. He said that as long as he's doing therapy work, it's like he's still participating in classes.
Oh, I got you.
And it keeps him in recovery.
Yeah.
So stories like that are really cool. But you have to find something. And so once we get through the programs and stuff like that, you're sustaining recovery. We try to help you find a way to stay in it, something to keep you active and motivated. You got to have a focus point to stay on that track.
That's really cool. What would be some maybe indicators if somebody's listening maybe and they feel like, oh, I've got this under control, but maybe an indicator or two that would be like, yeah, I may benefit from some therapy and working through some of these addiction things or anything really. I mean, I think a lot of people probably have a stigma around therapy that they don't need it or a little too.
Thankfully, the stigmas are slowly going away.
Yeah.
It used to be if you were going to therapy, you were ashamed of it because something's really wrong with you.
Right.
It's not the case. Like I have clients that come in once a month just to kind of debrief and look at their life from a different angle. and find a lot of value in it.
That's pretty cool.
As far as addictions go, it's really hard to tell when something is social and when it's an addiction. I would automatically say if you're using something that's illegal
That's indicator.
and you can't stop,
Yeah.
you need some help.
Yeah.
You know, you need to get away from anything that's illegal. And I have clients argue with me about marijuana all the time because they're like, well, it's legal in Virginia. I'm like, well, you're in Tennessee.
Right. Not legal here, bro.
It's illegal here, though. That's the problem. Alcohol gets a little bit more tricky.
Sure.
How frequently are you drinking? Do you feel like you need a drink daily? If it's not daily, is it a couple times a week? Are you out of control when you drink? Well, I meant to drink one beer. I drank the whole 6-pack. Well, you may have a problem.
Yeah.
Is it causing problems in the family?
Right.
You know, you may say, well, no, it's not causing problems. My wife don't like it, so she nags me all the time. That's causing problems.
Yeah.
You know, so is it causing problems in the family? Is it causing financial issues? Do you feel like you can't stop? Are you using way more than you meant to, than you should?
Trying to escape something.
Shut
down.
Are you only doing it to escape something?
Yeah.
Is there something else, you know, well, it's just a stressful week at work. This is the only way I can unwind. Well, let's learn some different ways to cope and unwind so that you don't have to drink alcohol or something.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's definitively something wrong with having a drink every once in a while.
Sure.
That's up to their convictions and their decisions whether they're going to drink or not. I'm not here to tell them that. But if it's a problem,
right, it's got control of you instead of you controlling it. Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Can you put it down and walk away? And
Yes.
Yeah. What are some other tips for some people maybe thinking about, well, I might need, we're family issues, right? I mean, when do you get into, okay, I think it would be holistic or helpful to go see a therapist about some family dynamics, drama, whatever that might be. You see it play out a lot in our area, unfortunately, and a lot of it's because of different addictions and different things and past, caught, the way they were grown up. But anyway, what would your advice be there?
I'm real passionate about marriages. I think a lot of things, a good marriage, like a good solid marriage, can fix a lot of things in the home. Problems with kids, problems with addictions, problems with maybe even pornography or something like that. Could be a marriage issue, And something I tell people all the time, your marriage doesn't have to be in trouble to come to counseling.
Right.
We can do a lot of like building up of a marriage or refreshing and refresh the marriage. I'm a real big proponent of marriage retreats. There's a super good one that happens over in Black Mountain, North Carolina, every October. Me and my wife went to it for like 12 years straight.
Oh, that's cool.
And find a marriage retreat or something like that to get away to. But if you're at odds on something, whether it's the finances, whether it's intimacy matters, just because you go see a counselor does not mean your marriage is ending.
Right.
Come see us before it's ending.
Right.
But so we don't have to fix we help you work through as much. But yeah, so I mean, of course it's my job. So I'm like, yeah, everybody can use therapy.
Right.
But a lot of people can.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. The power of just going to a safe place where they're not going to tell everybody your business and just be able to openly speak about life is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I would encourage people to give it a try. If you don't like it, if it's not for you, so be it.
Yeah.
Not every therapist is for everyone though.
Yeah.
So that's important.
Try out a few, or do you have some sort of matrix that kind of you work through to pair somebody with somebody different? Because you guys have a lot of therapists on staff, right?
We do. And different people on our staff are passionate about different things. The one gentleman I told you, he's passionate about addiction issues. We've got another therapist who really, really enjoys young kids,
Mm-hmm.
like play therapies and stuff. It is not uncommon to walk in her office, find sand everywhere.
No, that's fun.
And I'm really passionate about couples and families and stuff like that. So there is a little bit of a filtering process. Hey, kind of what's going on? Give us a brief history of it.
Yeah.
Let's see who might be best. Do you prefer a male or a female? We've got both. Some people are more comfortable with one than the other. So, um, and then sometimes it would surprise you. I've got a female client right now. She was adamant she needed a female therapist. We didn't have any availability with one at the time. I offered to see her temporarily till we had one open up. And she said it's been really powerful for her. She had a really difficult past with an ex-husband who was abusive. So she's kind of weird with men. But she's super comfortable now. She's really glad she did it because it's helped her come
I was
out
going
of
to say,
it.
yeah, it can help build back trust.
The exposure therapy, if you would,
There
that
you go.
people talk about. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's some hard stuff out there like abuse and, yeah, just awful stuff, and how do you, yeah, what are some, I guess maybe somebody's listening, and if you are in an abuse situation, what would be something you would advise them to do?
if they are,
It's got to be a scary situation.
it is. It is. A lot of times they're afraid to do anything, so they just sit in it and they don't want to leave it. Seek help
Yeah.
for sure. There are places out there that can help and everything. April is actually Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Mm.
There's a lot of resources and stuff out there. Get help, get out of it if you can. Seek counseling from your pastor, from a therapist or a counselor. There's a lot of resources out there for especially for women.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's a lot more for women than men. There's a lot of men suffering domestic violence as well. And they're even more afraid to speak out because it's like, I can't tell people my wife's hitting me and doing this to me and doing that to me. Like, that's demasculating. But it's real and it happens.
Yeah.
And men are the hardest ones to get into therapy.
Right.
They get to come to counseling.
Why do you think that is?
They don't want to open up, man.
Yeah.
It's weakness.
Yeah.
Had a really cool couple come in one time. And the guy said, he said, just so you know, I think this is a load of crap. And I said, what's a load of crap? And he said, this whole therapy mumbo jumbo. I said, I got you. I said, well, I'll make you a deal. I said, if you will give me a honest hour, open-minded, I promise not to get real deep in the ooey gooey feelings. How about that? Can we do that? He's like, yeah, I guess. And so at the end of the hour, I said, how bad was that? He's like, it wasn't too bad. I said, will you come back? He's like, yeah, I guess. And the second session, he got into some ooey gooey feelings. And I was like, that's not so bad, is it? And he's like, I don't guess. But
Yeah, I think, tell us about talking about the ooey gooey stuff and why it helps, like,
yeah,
why just expressing it to another human, does that help?
because we often bottle it up. We keep it, especially the hard feelings, anger, resentment, sadness, grief. We bury that stuff deep because we don't want to show it to people. We don't want to bother people or burden people with it. So it helps to pour that bottle out sometimes.
Yeah.
What I like to tell my clients is the problem with bottling stuff up. You keep pouring stuff into this bottle, and eventually the bottle overflows, and you're not going to like what that looks like when it overflows. It's going to be an outburst of some kind that's going to do some damage. So,
And there's no room for joy
there's no
and peace
right
and love and,
because you're so full of these
you're
other
so
things.
full of this other stuff. Yeah.
And when you haven't had a chance to really talk about it, there's just something freeing and putting it out there.
Yeah.
And just learning to let go of it a little bit. So sometimes it's identifying an emotion you didn't realize you were feeling. So
Just putting words to, like, I feel like, yeah.
we've got something called a feelings wheel.
Oh,
If you've ever seen one,
yeah.
it starts with your primary feelings in the middle. You've got anger, happy, sadness, stuff like that. And then it branches out, disappointment, um, embarrassment, stuff like that. And then it branches out again. So it really helps you narrow down what you're feeling. Anger, we call a secondary emotion. Anger shows up when you're trying to bury something else.
Mm.
So if I'm really upset about something, I'll probably cover it up with anger just to disguise it, maybe get you to leave me alone, whatever it may be. So a lot of times when people are angry, we start digging deep. We try to figure out what the other emotion is. We find out what the other emotion is, then we can process what's causing that emotion, hopefully alleviating some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard the saying, hurt people, right? And so it's either
That's it.
anger or, yeah, sometimes some other stuff that comes out physical. But yeah, I think getting into and talking about it is definitely a good thing for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And then you guys work with DCS, you told me, which I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
We do. We do. We've got a large contract with DCS. We do all of our therapy services with them. We do some educational type programs with them. We do some anger management. We do truancy interventions for kids.
Yeah.
We've got a shoplifting program. We've got smoking and vaping programs that we can do with kids. It's mostly written for smoking, but vaping is the primary.
That's the new thing, right?
That's the new thing is vaping.
Or newish thing.
We also do a lot of assessments and stuff like that, parenting assessments, alcohol and drug, mental health assessments. We have a program called Sitter Services, which is where we have people that go out and sit with kids that are in transition. They've been removed from their guardians and they're waiting on foster care placement or residential placement. So they need someone to go and sit with them.
Which has just got to be brutal. I mean,
it's rough. It's rough.
And walking a kid through that and helping them get to a healthy place, that's got to be so rewarding.
Yeah. It's difficult, but it can be super rewarding.
Yeah.
Very rewarding.
Yeah.
Our sitters are specially trained because these kids are coming out of really bad environments. It's all they've ever known.
Yeah.
So oftentimes they don't know how bad it is themselves, but they're angry. They're sad. They're upset. They may break things, throw things, kick people.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so all of our people are trained in de-escalation tactics and stuff like that to just be able to interact with these kids and to try to help make the transition smoother.
Yeah. I think that's a noble cause for sure. What's the one thing you wish you could change in the family dynamic around here that you see over and over and over that you'd be like, if we could get this done, it would help hold families together?
Intentionality. Intentionality with your family is imperative.
Okay. Talk to us about that.
Spending time with your family. Everybody's so busy, you know? And it's almost like when we talk to each other, it's almost like bragging rights. Oh, I'm so busy. I do this and this and this.
Oh, yeah. I'm working on myself saying I don't want to, because busy for me is not productive. You know, it's just, I'm just running and doing and it's not productive. It doesn't get us down the road where we want to be.
And often if you're doing too many things, you're not doing anything well.
No.
So, and that's the problem. And your family should be one of your top priorities. So you should be intentional with the time you spend with them, pouring into your kids, pouring into your spouse, being there for them, being a role model for your kids, especially. I read a statistic years and years ago, when my oldest boys were very young, and the statistic said that families that eat together around the dinner table 4 or more times a week lowers the chances of the children ending up in prison by like over 80%. Lowers the chances of prison, drug use, sexual promiscuity, all those things by over 80%. If you merely have dinner together around the table 4 times a week.
That's nuts.
Now that means no TVs, no cell phones, no tablets, sitting there staring at each other awkwardly and hoping for conversation.
Well, and I grew up doing that, and
Yeah,
you're at the dinner table at 6:30 every night, and if you
yeah,
weren't, something was wrong,
right, right. Whoever's home when we have dinner, they're around the table.
yeah.
So
That's a great tip.
we have 5 kids now, so our dinner's are loud. There's a lot of noise, usually a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
We have a good time.
Well, and you're creating a habit
Yes.
for them that they're going to carry forward because unfortunately, a lot more is caught than taught, and so you carry forward what you learned, and it's maybe sitting around the TV or it's being abusive like your parents were, and so it's just seems so crazy. You think that I don't want to have to deal with any abuse. I don't want any of my kids to deal with abuse because I was abused, but they don't realize. I guess is that the underlying cause there, or?
That one goes either way. Kids who are abused either grow up and go all the way to the other end of the spectrum, or they grow up and repeat it.
Yeah.
Frequently, they grow up and repeat it. A lot of the DCS families we work with, there is a generational history of drug use, abuse of all kinds.
Yeah.
That's going on. So it's setting patterns, setting examples. I had a horrible example growing up of a marriage and parents. I grew up in a home full of a lot of domestic violence and stuff like that, so it wasn't good. My wife did too, and we wanted something different. So we ran far the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Yeah. I think it's tough, man. Raising a family's hard, being married's hard, life is hard. It seems there's a lot of hard things out there, and I think being able to come to somebody and talking about it really does help for sure.
Busyness gets in the way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. What kind of schedule would you say for, just people who are thinking about doing it? Is it like a once a week for a while? Is it ever, like you said, there's some people that come in once a month, but I guess if you're in a really bad situation, you can come in every day for a little while. I don't know.
I really kind of let the client set that.
Yeah.
So majority of people start out once a week.
Okay.
They'll come in once a week. After a while, if they feel like some things are improving, they'll drop back to once every other week.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, right now I've got clients that I see once a month. I've even got one I see every 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
yeah.
They're doing what I would call maintenance therapy.
Gotcha.
So they've got to where they kind of want to be. So they come in once a month, once every 6 weeks, just to maintain what they've gained.
That's good. Yeah. I think how long? I guess it just depends on the client too, but because I think people are like, oh, well, I don't know that you just come in forever, or do you ever get fixed? Like what are some of the time frames that you typically have clients?
That's kind of all over the place too.
All over the place.
It's up to the client as well. I kind of let them decide when discharge date is.
Yeah.
I've got clients that have come to me for a month or two, and then they're like, I think I'm good for a while.
Yeah.
I've got clients that I've been seeing for 3 years. So it's really up to you. There's no, a good therapist has no expectation for you to just stick around. When you're good, you're good. I always tell my clients when they discharge, hey, I'm still here. I'm not planning to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Anything pops up, holler at me. I'll make room for you. So
that's cool. Yeah. Sounds like you really care about your people, which is probably very key to helping them.
I do. There's a lot of clients that had we met under different circumstances, I think we'd be really good friends. They'd be cool to hang out with. So
they're like, "Hey, you want to?" You're like, "No, can't."
yeah.
So, where'd you grow up? You said you were here, I think.
So I live near Tri-Cities Airport.
Oh, okay.
I actually live currently on the land I grew up on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. When my wife was pregnant with our second child, my mom got remarried for, I don't even know what time. She got remarried and she was moving away. So we bought the house and the land for what she owed on it.
Oh, cool.
Now the house had to be totally gutted and remodeled, but we did it. We lived there as long as we could. but we still live on the property.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So up near the airport.
That's pretty cool. Blockville.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So tell me some things you love about Johnson City. Like, what do you and your wife like to do when you come to town?
So my whole family really likes the lights at Founders Park during Christmas.
That one's, whoever came up with that one really hit it out of the park.
That was brilliant.
It was a good one.
Much cheaper and more entertaining than some other light attractions in the area.
Yes.
But
Those are great too, though.
those are great.
Yeah.
Those are
And
great.
some of them really help out some charities, which is awesome.
They do, which is phenomenal.
Go to all three.
Go to all
All
of them.
four or whatever.
My kids like this one because they can get out of the car and like
Run
run
around.
about,
Yeah.
do all the things and stuff. So we really like that at Christmas. Some of the local restaurants me and my wife really enjoy coming to. There's a lot of restaurants over here that's kind of on our list to try and do. So a lot of stuff like that.
That's cool. Yeah. Like on a date night, where are you guys going to go?
On a date night. So we really love Southern Craft up here.
Oh, so good.
That's a staple in our book.
Yeah.
Special occasions, because it is a little bit pricier. There's one right over here on the corner. The name just escaped me.
The Burger and Barrel place or
No, close to them though.
One Chow?
No,
White Duck?
no.
On the corner. I'm trying to think.
It's close to the corner right there. I'll think of it here in a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one over there. It's a little bit more of a couple times a year.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So really want to try Freiberg's.
Oh, yeah.
I hear it's phenomenal.
It is good.
She wants
And they opened a new one on State of Franklin where the Food City is.
Oh, cool.
They've got one in there. I think Holy Taco
Right.
came out and Freiburg's went in there. So I'm waiting to see how that is going to be.
She really wants to try White Duck.
Yeah,
taco.
that's a good one.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We have a lot of great food.
we do.
How about pizza? Where do you guys go? Or maybe we can talk about Blockville close to your house. If you got some
Well,
hidden gems up there we need to try out.
so everything up there is pretty, it's kind of like, mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
Chain pizza places. So, I mean, it's good, but so my wife actually has a gluten allergy. Gluten-free pizza is hard to come by.
It is.
The best one is at Cootie Brown's.
I was going to say, Carly, my wife, likes to eat gluten-free as much as she can, and they have a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, they have. So when we go to Cootie Brown's, like I'll eat the gluten-free pizza because to me, it's just as good as the regular.
Yeah.
So,
Which is hard to find.
yes.
Yes. I was listening to, this goes back to the mental health and that kind of thing, but how big a player diet is and your gut, like on behavioral and like
Yeah.
cognitive stuff. And are you studying any of that now? Like, are you looking at supplements and that kind of thing? And
I don't look real deep into it myself. My wife does. She started a health journey about 4 years ago
okay,
with her mental health. She was wanting to come off of some of her medication.
sure,
She was having some really bad side effects
Yeah.
from some of the meds that come along with it. So she looked into changing her lifestyle choices, dietary choices, stuff like that. She got really strict on her diet. She started exercising regularly, like a set routine. She's actually a personal trainer now. And
Oh, good for her.
a
Yeah.
nutritionist. And so she's looked really heavy into those. She is now totally off all mental health medications
Isn't that amazing?
because she has changed her diet. She exercises regularly and properly. And it's totally come off of mental health meds.
Yeah. I think exercise is huge.
I wouldn't say that that's the case for everybody.
No,
For
but
her, it was.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a pretty big percentile probably because
Yeah.
it's easy to prescribe something and then you feel, all right, I don't really, unfortunately, it inhibits you from feeling like working out a lot of times because it's an antidepressant or a depressant, and so it's taking your body in a way that it doesn't really want to go. And so, yeah, but if you can get out and work out and like get over that hump and put good things in your body,
Right.
it's amazing how you can heal yourself.
That is a big thing I do recommend to people who are struggling with like depression or some overwhelming grief is exercise.
Yeah.
Even if it's just walking a mile
Right.
getting outside, moving around a little bit in the sunshine.
Sunshine, vitamin
Like
D
that.
is huge.
All that stuff is
Yeah.
really good for you.
Yeah.
So, I don't travel the road of supplements and everything. My wife could tell you all about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Yeah.
but that does play a huge part in it.
Well, and I think they're probably going to be coming out with some protocols in the future, I would think, that would say, hey, you feel like this? Well, you may be deficient in thiamine or whatever,
Right.
and you need to get these enzymes in your body, and you're low on vitamin B and D, and, and because the processed foods we're eating, and I'm hoping RFK kind of works on that some, but it's stripped of everything, and then it's got full of things that aren't good for you, and that your body's trying to deal with that too, and so it's
Yeah.
kind of we're hurting ourselves more than helping, I think.
What
with our
really
diets.
opened my eyes to all of that was when it was brought to my attention that a lot of the foods we eat are banned in other countries.
Oh yeah, yeah, we
Because
went.
of the additives and the
It's crazy.
lab created ingredients.
We were in Europe this past fall or winter, and you'd look at a package of potato chips, and it was potato chips, salt, and oil. That was it.
Yeah.
Here it's potato chip, salt, oil, blah, 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 blah,
A list like that of
Yeah,
ingredients
and you're like,
you can't even pronounce.
right, because they want to preserve them. They want to put some sort of addictive chemical that makes you want to eat more of them and get more of them, and
Yeah.
it's just awful,
Right.
And you're like, how does the government allow that,
Right.
And so
It's wild.
it's a big battle. It's a big problem, and it's going to be a long haul. But
Yes.
I hope we can get there, because I think there are a lot of mental health issues that I believe are dietary driven, unfortunately,
Yes.
and especially with like the kids and the ADHD. I mean, you're filling them full of red dye and all this weird stuff. So I'm excited that we're working on some of that.
Yes.
What's something you're excited on? You're working on right now as CEO of the deal? Where do you see FLP going?
We're doing a lot of different things right now to try to grow. We've grown quite a bit actually over the last 3 years. Some of the things I'm focused on right now are more group classes. I'm trying to get in front of some different judges or court clerks, and really show them what we can do, tell them what we can do, and let them know. We want to do more group classes for behavioral issues with teens, more group classes with the smoking and vaping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
More group classes for truancy issues with kids. And then maybe do some anger management group classes for kids and stuff too.
So you think they'll let you in the schools to do this stuff?
I don't know if we'll actually be able to get into the schools or not. Some of the schools have told us, especially in Sullivan County, said that they would love for us to come do some especially teacher in-service type stuff, help them, and maybe do some things with the kids as well.
Yeah.
So that may be something on the horizon also.
It'd be great if you could have some training that's part of just the regular curriculum, start them young and then hopefully change,
Yeah,
their trajectory. And
yeah. Something that I just recently started associated with our church is a program called Grief Share. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it's for people who are grieving the loss of a loved one.
Yeah.
And so it's been really, really cool. I would love to see how I can expand that. Not necessarily for FLP, but just for our area. I don't know if you've ever lost someone close to you. It's hard.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when you think you've kind of got it whooped, something happens and it comes right back at you, catches you out of left field.
Yeah.
So, on a personal level, that's maybe something I would like to pour into a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, first though, I'm finishing a specialized training, to help couples that are dealing with, affairs, and specifically affairs that have led to PTSD in the marriage.
Sure. Yeah.
So
I bet there's a lot of that around. If that happens in your marriage, I'm sure there's a lot of PTSD.
it's a pain like no other pain out there is what how it's been told to me.
Yeah. Just total betrayal. And it's got to be brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's somebody if you're thinking about, like, somebody's listening, thinking about becoming a counselor, what kind of advice would you give? And do you have openings that you're looking, since you guys are looking to grow, is that an option?
Yeah, we're always looking for more interns to do their internships with us. Um, we have a lot of benefits to offer an intern that's looking for a spot. A lot of places only offer unpaid interns. We offer a paid internship.
Oh, nice.
And then there's some fringe benefits that come along with it and stuff too. People who are looking to get into it, there's a lot more paperwork than I thought there was. I did not anticipate the paperwork
Yeah.
that is involved in it. A lot of paperwork. You can have your niche, like mine is couples.
Right.
Be prepared to do a little bit of everything.
Sure.
Expect to do a little bit of everything. Be open-minded about the schedule. I knew going into it that if I'm working with couples, oftentimes the couples are both going to work. So I'm going to have to work some evenings.
Right.
So you may have to adjust your schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
Getting through school is going to be hard to do school, intern hours, and maybe a job that earns a living. I still managed retail stores, was an intern, full-time student, and a father of 5 at one time. And it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. So long days, short nights.
That's, yeah.
For sure. So it's hard, but man, it's rewarding. When you what I call a win, but it's really your client that wins. Like when a big change happens, when big progress happens, like it's incredible. It gets you through the sessions where you're like, I didn't do nothing. Like that sucked.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Yes.
Let's say somebody's listening, they're like, hey, I want to connect with you guys and come check it out and start getting some help. How do our listeners connect with you guys?
So if you want to connect with us directly, we have a website, flpcounseling.com.
Okay.
We also have Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that where you can send a message and we could send you a link and get connected. The website's going to be your best option. Go on there. It's got a place with phone numbers. It's got a place where you can email me directly and ask questions or see if therapy's right for you.
Yeah.
We can do a free consult and stuff like that. So and just talk about what's going on, what we have to offer. Occasionally I do a consult with somebody. They're like, well, I don't know if it's for me or not. They tell me what's going on. I say, well, how about this? How about you try this, this, and this first?
Right.
And then come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes I never hear from them again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So your website, flp.com?
flpcounseling.com.
Counseling.com. Okay.
We have private pay. We accept some insurances. We have a sliding scale we can do. If you need therapy, I'm going to find a way to work with you.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it happen.
That's great.
One way or another. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else I forgot to ask you wanted to talk about or wanted to share?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. That's a lot.
I think this session's been really good, Dustin. I'm really excited about your future and progress, and I can't wait to see you again in a few weeks. All right, last question. What gets you just super excited? Like you're just fired up, like let's go.
About my job or just anything?
Anything.
Oh, man.
Like where you're just exuding joy and like you're like.
Are we just looking for one?
Yeah, just one. What's the top one? Yeah, just one thing.
That's hard. Yeah, I can't give you just one.
All right,
like I get really excited about my family, my kids.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like some of them are aggravating at times, but
sometimes fire you up in the wrong way.
Oh, I love those guys so much. They're incredible. They're doing such great things too. Like I'm so super proud of all of them.
Yeah.
I get really excited about our church too.
Yeah. Where are you attending?
Bluffville Christian.
Okay.
We're heavily involved there. And I just get excited about it. Like I genuinely look forward to Sunday morning, Wednesday nights.
Yeah. Got a good group of people.
We do.
Good close friends.
We really, really do. So.
Isn't it cool? I think a lot of people are maybe afraid of church or I'm going to get church, but really it's just a group of friends. And once you get down to it and
church hurt's a real thing.
And then you're learning about the creator of the universe and how much he loves you. It's just a beautiful thing.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I'm a big church fan too.
And I would say if you've been hurt by a church before, they're not all like that.
No.
Again,
hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
They didn't feel good, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. Thanks for coming on the podcast. I'm sure our listeners hopefully enjoyed our conversation. If they're thinking about therapy or need to just unload or dealing with grief or addiction, reach out. You're not alone. There are a lot of people around our area, again, who I think is why it's just an awesome spot, because we love people, and I think that's Jesus working through us. But they're counselors, and they're like to find ways to work through some things that we don't have the capacity to do. And so I would pray and that you connect with Dustin and his crew. And I hope you guys just continue to just help our community become better and healthier and stronger. And I think one life at a time, and you start thinking about how that replicates and the hockey stick kind of curve that could happen. Yeah. And I think people are being drawn to our area too, because they need love and they need being taken care of. And they're running from just some crazy stuff out there in the world. And so hopefully we can be a safe place here in East Tennessee. So thank you for listening. If you want to move to East Tennessee, that's what I do. Obviously, I'd love to help you do that and help you meet Dustin. We can meet you out by the airport. Maybe you'll sell off some of your land. We'll just
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. I like my border.
I can help you find somewhere close.
That's right. There we go. That's right.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening. Till next time, we'll talk to you soon.